So when a woman's pregnant, she really wants to know, what are the best things that I should be doing for this baby that's growing inside of me? And you hear a lot of opinions. And, maybe if a person's had 4 or 5 kids, they'll be like, I was drunk every day I was pregnant. My kids are fine or fine enough, really. But if someone's having their first baby, they're really going to be nervous. Should I say that? Even if I say that, am I going to hurt my baby? They just want to do all the right stuff. So in this video, I'm going to answer a question from a viewer that I got about using supplements while we're pregnant, just to give you some insights on this. Here we go.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So the first thing to understand when you're trying to find out if supplements are right while you're pregnant is to understand that you're going to have to figure this out. You're not going to get a whole lot of really solid answers. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of really solid answers because nobody wants that liability. There's these issues that can come up while a woman is pregnant. There's a wide variety of things that can go wrong. And if someone starts taking some supplement and one of those things goes wrong, they're going to blame that supplement. Oh, it's because I took that supplement. Oh man, that went horribly wrong. So nobody wants that. That's why you see so many commercials like, don't do this if you're pregnant. Like a Toyota Corolla, like you'll see a commercial. Do not operate a Toyota Corolla if you're pregnant. Like nobody wants any trouble. So everybody says, don't use this if you're pregnant. But the reality is that there are some nutrients that really can be beneficial when a woman is pregnant or even trying to get pregnant or nursing while the baby is out and all these kind of things. So you really have to do some research to figure out what you feel is going to be best for you. And I feel like that's one of the more important things is what do you feel good about? Don't do something that you're not really going to feel good about. So this topic came up because someone sent me an email asking, can I use Beat Flow while I'm pregnant? And we're not the manufacturers of Beat Flow, so we can't really say. But the reason we get this question a lot is because if you think about it, Beat Flow really could be beneficial while someone is pregnant because we use Beat Flow to help thin out the bile so the bile can flow correctly, toxins can be removed from the body, fats can be digested correctly so that you can access fat-soluble vitamins like A, E, D, and K. All those things are a really big deal. And when a woman is pregnant, it has the ability to really elevate estrogen levels. And when estrogen goes high, that has the ability to thicken up the bile. And this can be why a lot of women experience a lot of nausea while pregnant. A lot of people feel like, oh, that's just hormones going crazy. But a lot of times it has to do with bile not flowing anymore and the toxins are not being removed because a lot of the toxins are removed out of the body by bile carrying them out the back door. So there's a lot of trouble that can come up, but that doesn't mean that I feel like someone should take Beat Flow while they are pregnant. Especially I don't feel like someone should start Beat Flow while they're pregnant because for some people, this is a rare situation, but if someone has a lot of toxins that have been backed up for a long time and they start to take steps to thin out that bile, too many toxins can come out at once and create some type of reaction or, oh, I don't feel so great or I'm more nauseous because the body's trying to get rid of all this stuff. And after a few days, they're fine. But do you really want all that going on while you're pregnant? So, I'm not going to say what someone should do. When my wife was pregnant, when I was picking what supplements do I want to use to make sure that this kid is getting the nutrients that it needs to grow and be a healthy human with all the things, all the parts. You want all those things coming out like they're supposed to work. And so when I was choosing what things I would use, I used some Beat Flow, but she had been using Beat Flow before. So it wasn't like a new thing to her. And with anything that I use with my wife, I use much smaller doses. If I was using a higher dose normally, I might use 1 per day instead of, 3 or 4 per meal kind of a thing. And I also like to see women, when they select what things that they might feel are beneficial, not to do those things every day, to kind of skip days here and there, and so that you're not overloading the body with any specific nutrient. And you really have to do your research to figure out what is appropriate for me. Like there's things where a fetus really needs vitamin A, but when they get too much vitamin A, it creates all this trouble. So I don't like to see people, supplementing with just vitamin A when they're pregnant. But you really want to research the things that you feel good about. And in the meantime, do whatever you can food-wise to bring in more nutrients. You know, bone broth is a great thing that can bring in nutrients a lot easier because it's in that liquid form. It's easier to assimilate it. So as long as someone isn't having like a histamine reaction to bone broth can be really beneficial. You know, organ meats have a lot of nutrients in them. If someone really doesn't like to eat liver, maybe they could get some, grass-fed liver pills from a source that they really trust, and maybe they can use that to bring in a little bit more nutrients a little bit easier. If they need to digest their food better, maybe they would use a little bit of apple cider vinegar instead of betaine HCl capsules, since apple cider vinegar is much more gentle and it's really just a source of food. So when we're looking at things like that when we're pregnant, we really want to take the most gentle steps that we can while we're doing whatever might be appropriate for our body. And it really is a ripoff that you kind of have to be on your own to do this, but in the world that we live in, it's just the way that it has to be. Someone is going to have a hard time telling you what you can or cannot do. You're going to have to do enough research to figure those things out for yourself. A person might think, okay, I'm going to look for products that are designed for pregnancy, and then I'm going to look for higher quality stuff. If you're buying some type of prenatal vitamin at the pharmacy or something, you're usually going to be getting some type of cheap supplement that has a lot of binders in it that can actually restrict your ability to access the nutrients in those supplements or even in the food that you're eating. So you don't want to get some cheap supplement. You want to do some research and you want to get higher quality things. But using some broad spectrum, almost a multivitamin type thing might be better than using a lot of very specific high doses of specific nutrients. You don't want to create imbalances in your body while you're building this human being. So I hope that helps. I wish I could help more, but this is just the world that we live in. But if you want to gain more insights of just things that you could do to bring more nutrients into the body, you can check out our video on infertility, a different viewpoint, and that may give you more insights as well. I hope that helps.